hair's all out of place, it's so windy. God, it's windy today. Morning all. I had a call last night from a customer from a very well-known restaurant in Mayfair in London, and they had some lighting issues. They said they've managed to resolve some of the problem, but a lot of the emergency lighting isn't working, and I tried talking them through it, pressing key switches and stuff, but obviously they don't want to open today without emergency lighting. A lot of it's in the basement as well, so there's no natural light. So I've had to change plans to go there this morning, get there early doors, try and sort out the problem before they open up to the public, which is a responsible thing to do at the end of the day. But this is a thing with emergency call-outs. You just can't plan them, so they can happen anytime. You've got to be reactive for your client. General lighting is for health and safety reasons as well. So operationally, businesses can't open without lighting and power. They can't operate without power if equipment isn't working and things like that. I got up at 4:30 a.m. this morning. I'm an early bird. I like getting up early anyway. I like to think that means I get to go home early, but it won't. I'll still probably get home about 6 o'clock anyway. But put in the comments below, are you an early bird? Do you like getting up early, getting home early, or do you like to have a little bit of a lay-in and you don't mind getting home a little bit later? Let me know. Do you do emergency call-outs as well? So anyway, it is really windy this morning, like seriously windy. Anyway, I'm going to put the dash cam on. I bought this a while ago and I've barely used it, but I've had it like all fitted out in the van now. So I'm going to put this on and let's go. So I've arrived in London, really windy, and there's like twigs and just like plastic bags and all sorts just blowing all over the place today. So what I love about getting up to London early is obviously traffic. There's like barely any traffic. I just sailed through. So if I leave like half an hour later, for example, that can add like 45 minutes onto an hour onto my journey. It's mad how long, how built up London gets and how busy it gets. But also a lot of bus lanes you can drive down as well. Not that I had to because there was no traffic on the road anyway. But just look out. Not all of them though. Some of them are like 24-hour. So you just look at the sign as you come up to them, and the hours that they say between, say like 10 till 12 or whatever, that means that's the hours that they're operating. So only buses can go in during those hours, so just have a quick read of that. Obviously there's barely any traffic, but as soon as you start getting more into central London, drivers are much more aggressive. Like a couple of people like are trying, we're all trying to go in the same direction in one lane, and you got people trying to undercut you, overtake you. It's just it's a different way of driving, and this is like first thing in the morning when no one's here as well. So I've just rocked up down this road in Mayfair. The first parking bay I went to, looked, and there's a sign that's saying that there's a parking suspension. So I've just gone down the road again, and again you have to check the parking, because some of them are permit parking, some of them you're not allowed to park in certain hours, and just obviously check the hours and the maximum stay, because honestly the parking wardens around here are bloody ninjas, and it is expensive if you get a ticket. So I'm just going to go out and check this sign just to make sure that I'm okay to park here, and it's really windy. So I'm allowed to park in this bay from Monday to Saturday, 8:30 to 6:30 p.m, and you're only allowed to stay for 4 hours. So what I'm going to do now, I've got an app on my phone. I just used a parking location. It's all pre-set up. If you are parking in London, I highly suggest that you get the app or you set up an account before you come. Otherwise it can take forever setting it up. So we used to park in London. We're set up with pretty much most parking account. I'm here now and it's 6:30 in the morning, so the parking doesn't apply. So what I religiously do is set a reminder on my phone, an alarm 10 minutes before I'm due to park. So I'm going to set my alarm for 8:20. That'll tell me if I'm going to go over 8:20 I need to pay for parking, and I've always done that religiously 10 minutes before to make sure that I don't get caught out, because like traffic wardens in London, like honestly they're like ninjas. It's almost like they hide behind cars to try and put a ticket on you. They're everywhere and there's no tolerance. Like if you go over by a few minutes you're getting a ticket. That is that. I mean I've had quite a few in my time and I've learnt my lesson. So I'm going to get some basic tools and head over to the site and see what the problem is. I'll be doing a video on what's in this little baby soon. My hair's all out of place, it's so windy. When I arrived, this one was dead. This emergency light was dead. But this one was on. And you see there's two MICCs that go through there, and one of them was loose. So there's no power going to the other two. So I've reconnected that all up. So this one is now live. It's obviously got to charge the battery. But this one is still dead as a dodo, so I'm going to have to replace this emergency light fitting here. Now, I don't keep much on my van, as you may see, but I do keep emergency light fittings. So, fortunately, I have got an Orbic emergency light fitting, so I'm going to go back and replace that nice and easy. Right, I don't know if you can see. I think my van needs a bit of a clean. Who thinks my van needs a bit of a clean? Put it in the comments below. Right, let's go back to site. Right, so that's all done. It took me about an hour, but I got chatting to the client actually because they turned up. So I've been here an hour and a half. So they're all happy. That's all done, sorted, done and dusted. Now the thing with call-outs in central London is that there are a few suppliers dotted around. You know, it can be quite tricky and it can take a long time to drive to a supplier. So we try and keep as much stock on the van as we can, but we don't want to keep too much because otherwise it's wasted and you can't charge for it. But fortunately, as you saw, I don't have much of my van at all, and I had one of the light fittings for this site that they use anyway. So that's worked out quite well. I mean, I'm not massively hands-on the tools anymore. I'm mainly sort of management, but I like to dive in and do a few call-outs here and there just because it helps the clients out at the end of the day. And also, I like doing it just to keep myself a little bit in check, and it gives me a chance to see what the guys are doing on site. There's a few things I've noticed with this site where other contractors have come in and they've used different types of breakers in the board, and basically some of them, they don't clip onto the DIN rail, so they just pull off. So I've raised that with a client. It goes again, you pay cheap, you pay twice kind of thing. So we're gonna have to redo what they've done, and they've used non-BS standard cable as well, so I've sort of highlighted that. So yeah, that went quite well. I've got to go to Chelsea now, and that's wish me luck parking because it's a nightmare around there, and in sort of recent months they've only just done phone parking. Prior to that it used to be coins, meters. Absolute nightmare. Well, I don't know, we'll see how we get on. So yeah, that was this call out. That's emergency lighting. Now with the emergency light, you had a small toilet cubicle, then you had like a little room which probably measured 2 meters square, something like that, which was for urinals, and then you had like a wash basin room. What the fault was there was a loose neutral at the connection with the MICC in the main sort of washroom area. So when I turned it back on, the one in the urinal was working absolutely fine, but the one in the cubicle, it was a damaged fitting anyway, or sorry, it was a faulty fitting anyway. So I've just replaced that, so they've got lighting throughout. But to be honest, it wouldn't be a massive problem to leave it for a short period of time with that cubicle not having an emergency light, because if you open up the cubicle door in the event of a mains failure, you'd have emergency light in the urinal. But obviously we want to go a bit step further by making sure they've actually got more emergency lights than what is, you know, necessary really. But it's all about, you know, taking a few steps further than what is the minimum, which I think is quite important. And this client, they're good as gold, you know, that they understand that. Yeah, I'm going to head to this other call out. So I've just arrived at Chelsea. Literally, there's 2 spaces free, and I tell you what, I try and park in this part quite often, and there's never any space. I've never seen 2 spaces next to each other, but at least I've got a parking space. And I'll just show you the signs, what they mean. So, this is a parking sign. It says Monday to Friday 8:30 to 6:30, Saturday 8:30 to 1:30. So what that means is there's parking restrictions between those hours, and when you park, you can only park maximum of 4 hours and you can't return. So you've got to pay at the machine, but I use phone parking, the app on my phone, so it's quite nice and straightforward. So I'm going to set a reminder on my phone again. So I've parked for an hour. And in Chelsea, it's like £4.5 quid, £5 quid, something like that for an hour. It's bloody mental. So yeah, set a reminder on my phone, religiously do that, because I don't want none of those ninja parking wardens slapping a ticket on my van. I've been working in London for, oh God, about 13, 14 years all in all, sort of on and off. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship really. There's always work around London, so you know, you've got to go where the work is at the end of the day. But at the same time, the traffic is a joke. It gets worse and worse. Busy, you get a lot of rude people, but you know, it does have its plus sides. There's a lot going on. It's a very vibrant city, a lot of culture. So yeah, I do like parts of it, but I try, you know, personally, I like to stay in the country, a bit more of a country bumpkin myself. Let me know in the comments, do you work in London? How much do you hate London? Do you love London? Let me know what you think about London. It costs an arm and a leg to work in London as well. You've got congestion charge, which I believe is £11 something a day. Then if you're working in this area and you're looking at almost £5 an hour parking for all day, so you spent 50 quid before you've even started work for the day. That's something to factor into your costs as well with the client, because ultimately they got to pay for that. You can't pay for that. Whereas if I work locally, where we're based and sort of near a home, you don't get none of that. It's local. You've got none of this additional travel and traffic and stuff like that. So I can actually probably get to Brighton from where I live nearer than I can central London, but I live about 15 miles from London. Yeah, so I'm going to go in, look at this survey. It's a couple of oven supplies for a commercial kitchen, and that's pretty much it, guys. So I won't be able to film in there because they won't allow me to. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.